told him all that they had done. Then he took them and went aside privately into a deserted place belonging to the city called Bethsaida. And the multitude, when they knew it, followed him, and he received them, and spoke to them about the kingdom of God, and healed those who had need of healing. And when they began to work to him, send the multitude away that they may go into the town and country road about and not and get provisions, for we are here in a deserted place. But he said unto them, you give them to eat. And they said, we have no more than 5 loaves and 2 fish, unless we go and buy food for all these people. For they were about 5,000 men, and he said to his disciples, make them sit down in groups of 50, and they did so, and made them all sit down. Then he took the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, and looking up to heaven, he blessed them, and broke and gave to the disciples to set before the multitude. And they ate and were all filled, and 12 baskets of the remaining fragments were taken up by them. Glory be to God forever. Amen.
O you who commanded the Spirit into the hands of the Father as he hung on the cross in the 9th hour, and guided the thief who was crucified with you into entering your paradise, do not neglect me, O good one, nor reject me, I the lost one, but sanctify my soul and enlighten my understanding, and allow me to be a partaker of the grace of your life-giving mysteries, that when I taste of your benevolence, I offer you praise without lukewarmness, longing for your splendor above all things, O Christ our Lord and deliver us. He said, had not the one crucified with us been God incarnate, the Son would not hide his face, nor would the earth quake trembling. But O you, the Almighty One, who endures all things, remember me, O Lord, when you come into your kingdom.
have something to be busy with during the weekend. We start with the book of Philippi, and I hope everyone had the chance to read these 4 chapters. It has many things that I never noticed before, and they said we can, in 3 to 5 minutes, we can share some meditation or poem that was special to everyone. I don't know if did anyone try to read it or anything? أقول حاجة واحدة بس، إنه لو مرة جربتم تقروا الرسالة بروح الصلاة، هتشوفوا بولس الرسول بيصلي لأهل فيليبي، بيقول لربنا عنهم إيه في الإصحاح الأولاني. بيقول لهم كده، لو حولتوا الكلام اللي هو أشكر إلهي من أجل، لو بصيتوا بقى وقلتوا أنتوا هصلي لأجلهم، أقول أشكرك يا رب من أجلهم لأنك وهبتني أن أفرح بخدمتهم. أثق يا رب بأنك كما بدأت عملا صالحا فيهم ستكمله أيضا إلى يوم مجيئك. يا رب أنت تعلم اشتياقي لخلاصهم، أصلي وأترجاك أن تزيد محبتهم في معرفتك كل يوم أكثر فأكثر، حتى يستطيعوا أن يميزوا مشيئتك وصوتك وإرادتك، وتنزع منهم كل حيرة ويكونوا مخلصين لك. املأهم من ثمر برك ليزداد مجدك فيهم ويمجدك كل من يرى اسمك فيهم. Imagine يعني if this prayer will be you, like you as a servant, to pray for your kids using the word of the epistle of St. Paul. So this is a new way to read the gospel or to read the epistle from the perspective of a servant. يعني we usually read the Bible to get benefit, but it's a good way also to use the word to pray with the word for our kids, the same as St. Paul prayed. Try to read this 4th chapter again, and we'll start a new epistle starting from tomorrow. And I hope you pay attention to this type of reading to use it as a prayer.
In the Father, the Holy Spirit, one God, amen. So I will not take too much. The last week, I think Deacon Seraphim, Michael Gargi, he started already with you the discipleship and what the meaning of the discipleship. And he wrote, I think it was 12 points. And he took the sermon from Amba Yusuf, I think. It was a sermon from Amba Yusuf. Today we're going to talk about something different in discipleship, but so we're going to learn and how to teach too. Like the problem is like our church, we had talmaza. The church is like discipleship. But our Coptic church, the main pillar in this church is the discipleship. يعني احنا واقفين على عواميد اسمها تلمذة. So for example, I'm sorry, like, I have to talk about that. I'm from Alexandria. So I'm so proud ان انا معلش انا عارف الناس هتتضايق. بس احنا في اسكندرانية. We have teachers ابتدت الأول from the beginning from أبونا بشوي كامل. And if we go now for Abuna B'Shoy Kamil and after Abuna B'Shoy, Abuna Tadrus, Abuna Lu'a, and they spread the spirit of service the spirit of Christianity, the spirit of how to live in Christ, not only in their church, no, in the other churches, in all Alexandria. So we have teachers, and we have discipleship, disciples. So that's why the discipleship, it means that I learn from my teacher. For example, I remember my Sunday school teacher very well. He's Abu Arsanus, Wadi, the martyr. But I remember what? When he come, for example, attend the liturgy, I know exactly the place. He's always sitting on the right side of the church, and I was standing all the time during the liturgy. And I remember till now, when I was young, when I was like a third year elementary school, how he was praying in the liturgy. It's a discipleship. So we learn from our teachers. That's why I took this sermon from the book of the true path of discipleship, Nabuna al-Baba Shnuda. Okay? So first of all, the call to discipleship. Christ did not call people to mere knowledge or belief, but he said, follow me, and I will make you fishers of men. So we are servants. God called us to serve, to be teachers. I'm not replacing, but I'm taking the job of Christ who is teaching the people. That's why I'm doing the same job of teaching. So I have to learn and I have to teach. I have to fill myself in first, and after that I have to teach. I have to be a disciple of Christ, and I have to teach to have disciples inside the church. That's why I have to understand how to learn and how to teach too. So the discipleship is the gate, like Bob Shnuda in his book he wrote, the discipleship is the gate of knowledge and the first step on the spiritual road. Whoever does not become a disciple cannot walk rightly with God. That's why we have teachers, we have Father of Compassions, we have spiritual fathers, and everyone is trying to go to ask their guidance. As a servant, I have to understand that I have to ask guidance and كده أعرف حد يقول لي أعمل إيه sometimes. Like I wanted someone to tell me exactly what I should do. Again, for example, even I'm preparing a lesson, and I saw the message like Peter sent already like 2 days ago, maybe yesterday or before yesterday, about like, please can you send, like can you share with the servants like the presentation that you prepared for the lesson? So thank God, I don't know, there is any response? Okay. It's not about that we are, for example, you're sharing the lesson because we have to review it. No, we are sharing the lesson. It's number one, it's the benefit for everyone. Number two, the coordinator should read everything and review if there is the right things and it's written already in the presentation or not. Maybe it's against our feet. Sometimes maybe I took something from internet. I remember this when I was in Montreal. I remember like there was a kid come with me. Like it's a paper like coloring, but it's written on the top of it like a verse. But the verse was written in French. But when I read the verse, it was, for me doesn't click with what I know. So I searched it quickly for this verse. So I found it from Jehovah Witness. So what happened? The servant, he wrote like for example, part from the verse. The first things come to the internet, so can make it copy and paste and put it on the paper, ووزعها للولاد and distribute it. And what happened after? All the kids now know the verse from not our book. Jehovah Witness. So that's why I have to find someone is guiding me. Always, this is the discipleship. I have to ask, this is good, it's okay. It's not humility, or for example, I'm good. So what is a discipleship, as we said? It's a school of Christ. Like St. John Chrysostom, he wrote, he who learns and does not practice is like a tree without fruit. So the discipleship, it means like I learn, okay? And I have to practice. How to practice this? Like I have to ask guidance so I have fruits later on. So it's a school of Christ where one learns humility, obedience, love, patience, and spiritual discipline. What are the goals of the discipleship? First of all, again, as I said, I'm talking about I learn and I teach. So there is two things. I learn and I teach. So number one, I learn. Why? What I should learn? I should learn from all the books that I'm reading, from my father of confessions, my fathers, and everyone I learn from it to know Christ. Again, when we are preparing a lesson, it is not because I have to prepare to give. No. First of all, I'm preparing the lesson for myself. I remember my father of confession now, my current father of confession. So I told, like, when I was talking with him, he told me the best things for the priest when he's preparing the sermon, or to the when he's preparing for himself. He is learning a lot. So I told him, like, that we are preparing to give, like to teach. And you know, it's the first thing to teach yourself before teaching the other. That's why I have to understand the goal of the discipleship is knowing Christ is first. The first things I have to prepare. So that's why it's not, for example, أنا دي حاجة بتموتني. I ask the servant, for example, something like that here. You are coming to the Sunday school. Yeah, when I have the lesson. What does that mean? When you give a lesson, so you come to the Sunday school. So it's not a discipleship, it's not a service. Like you are not, for example, like a big speaker جايبينك حضرتك like with invitation عشان تجيب. No, it's not like this. حضرتك you're serving. So you have to prepare the lesson every time. You have to read about it for yourself. This is first things. I have to know Christ. How I can make disciples at the church without make myself disciple of Christ. Number two is to be transformed in heart and mind into the image of Christ. So I'm changing myself. And to gain spiritual discernment, which is distinguish between the will of God and one's own desires. So our kids, we try to teach them, to let them learn who is Christ, to teach them how to live in the world with Christ. And we're trying to tell them how to be like Christ. But again, I am the role model. I am the role model. They can see Christ, they're gonna see Christ through me. So I have to be a disciple first to Christ, and to let them be disciples, so they're gonna see me first. So that's why it's important. It's important to know who is Christ, and to know His will, and to listen to His voice. So when one of my kids come to me and ask any question, so I have the Spirit of Christ to if I'm empty, so I can't talk? Again, I'm talking now about discipleship of myself, a disciple, like to be disciple, and to have disciples. أنا بس أستأذنكم تشيلوا التليفونات. حطوا على جنب. So the disciples. One thing which is very important, sorry, I forgot it. To remain steadfast in the true faith and Orthodox teaching. And I emphasize now, I'm stressing this point too. I have to differentiate and distinguish between all the teachings. Nowadays, there is a lot of people, like reading books, for example, and we have internet, so we can search for anything, and any teachings we are reading, for example, coming with it, and it's okay for us when we are giving to our kids, but we are not distinguished between the right or the Orthodox faith and the other faith, and I have to understand. Again, anyone is talking, I have to listen, and I have to differentiate, distinguish between what they are saying according to my faith. Anyone. Again. Anyone. And I mean it. Nowadays I have to say it. I have to understand and I have to know. For example, some people that like saying some teachings even from the Coptic church, but it's not related to our faith. Something different. We never listen to that. The last word, I think, Abuna Lu'a, he wrote it before he passed away. He said, he loved to write. So this is what, like, it's not written in any book, like, but his son, Arseni, he told me this. So the last part, there was a small paper. It started, and he started like notes, and he started to write, and he wrote what exactly? He wrote, the beginning of changing inside our church, and in the beginning, the changing of clergy. The teachings were going to be different. I saw different in teachings in our Coptic church. So I have to understand what we are listening to and what we are teaching. And I have to distinguish between all the teachings I have. What are the quality of the true disciple? Again, according to the book of the true path of the discipleship for Pope Shenouda, His Holiness Pope Shenouda. Number one, humility. I know, a big devil, the I. The big devil, I know. The big devil, I am a servant. Yes, because I have to understand, like, humility. For example, I have to accept, for example, the coordinator, like servant coordinator or other servant, for example, they're going to do something different or they're going to take the lead in something. Yes, humble, to be humble, like humility. Even I have to accept if someone comes to me and say, Abuna, you said something wrong in your sermon. Like why? Because you said this one and that one. And if I see myself wrong, I have to say, yes, you're right. It's not about, for example, anything. No. Humility, to be a disciple to Christ, I have to be humble. And to teach my kids the discipleship, to have disciples inside the church, I have to teach them how to be humble. The humble, he guides in justice. Psalm 25:9. So, St. Anthony the Great, he said, obedience with humility conquers all with humility conquers all passions. God opened the mind of the humble to true understanding. I told this story before. When I was in Montreal, so I entered the church like in the middle of the day. Actually, I was going to washroom. So when I opened the door of the washroom, I found the priest of this church was cleaning the washroom. He was shocked and me shocked too. He was shocked when he saw me. Like, قال لي انت اللي جابك هنا؟ قلت له داخل الحمام. But he was shocked and he was like very كده strict with me and he never to tell anyone about what I'm doing. So I told him the question only, why? Give me a reason. Why you're doing this? So I said, sometimes we feel that we are servants or we are like the priests, so we are better than the others. We know more than the others, but I have to humble myself. And I found a way to humble myself to clean the washroom. I am the last one, not in on the top. So he taught me, again, I remember that it's more than 14 years. But I remember this because he taught me something, so I become disciple. So he teach me something. And I remembered, and here is the discipleship. He was a disciple of Christ by humility, and he taught me how to be. For sure, God was planning me to go to the church at that time and to see Abuna. It's not kida by chance, for sure. But it's a lesson. God gave me a lesson. Be humble. To be a disciple of Christ, you have to be humble. The second is obedience. Never, St. Peter said in Luke, who said, like St. Peter, he said, nevertheless, at your word, I will let down the net. Like we said, like the second week of in Baba. Christ, he was ordering he gave an order to Peter and to all the disciples to go inside, to go to the deep, and lay the net. Actually, as I said this morning, in my mind, it's impossible to do it. Why should I do this? Sometimes Abuna, or maybe the servant coordinator, say something, for example, like, yo, no, you have to do this. Abuna, no, we can't do it. It's wrong. Ya Habibi, believe me. صدقني, do this one. Or do that. After finish the conversation, the guy for him, the servants go, أبونا ده مش فاهم حاجة أصلا ولا يعرف حاجة. إحنا نعرف اللي إحنا عايزين. حبيبي صدقني, believe me, it's not about stubborn. Even if Abuna is wrong and you obey, maybe God is gonna يستخدم, they're gonna use obedience with different way. But it's not about stubborn, or it's not about, for example, this is what I should do, or what I want exactly. No. It's about obedience. So that's why a true disciple obeys even when he does not fully understand. Sometimes, I remember, my father of compassion, I'm asking to do, about his guidance, and he said you should do this, for example. Actually, it's against my mind, against what I should do. And actually, I'm not a person who's not talking, obey على طول, to confess. فهو and always saying يا ابني اسمع الكلام. So, and finally I said حاضر. But after learning argument, but I obey because he's my father of compassion, and immediately he sees something I can't see it in myself. So that's why I have to obey. The obedience does not cancel the mind, it sanctifies the will. So that's why I have in the service, obey. So if I wanted to obey, or if I obey, so I will teach my kids how to obey. So I become a disciple, and I create disciples I make disciples at the church. I'm not cancel my mind, but I obey guidance. Perseverance. If you abide in my word, you are my disciples indeed. What is the perseverance? In the service, usually, there is outside, there is many things I can endure from outside or from inside. Outside my life. From inside, it's at the church, like in the service. For example, I have someone, a servant, مطلع عيني. مش ولد. It's not a kid. No, a servant. Or أبونا غيتت غتاتة. أبونا غلس. The problem is, sometimes I face all these problems and I have to go through it. So I have two scenarios. The first one, أنا زهقت. أنا إيه اللي جايبني من بوجع القلب ده؟ So usually I escape. Usually I said, stop. I'm not doing this for anything. What the benefit of it? Like every time I saw these servants, I got mad. Or Abuna, for example, like is doing something and it's like I got mad again. So I have to stop the service. I have to keep my peace in my heart. And this is like, this is the first scenario. The second scenario. That's okay. When I start I start any service, I know that there is something happened. We know that in the beginning of in September. So me and Peter must together, we pray together, and we have to prepare for the new year. And when we finish the day, like of preparation, we prepare ourselves that in the week after, we're gonna have a big issues and problems, and we're gonna face all of it without anything. We believe that it's now been years. So we are preparing ourselves, that we prepare the service, and we are preparing ourselves. We face a lot of issues and problems. So that's why we have to prepare. We have to be ready. Here is perseverance. And I will not leave and not skip the service, even whatever happens. I'm keep going because the service I have. Again, I become a disciple of Christ. And when the kids see me with perseverance, I teach them how to face any issues. They become disciple. التلمذة أنا بتلمذ وبتلمذ معايا. Learning from everything. Bob Shinoda said in his book, a true disciple sees every event a new lesson. I learn from the Bible. I learn from the church. I learn from books. I learn from spiritual father. I learn from the saints. I learn from personal weakness too. When I was like, I can confess, but like there is a priest. Always when he started, like in Alexandria, back to Alexandria, like he was, when he started to the sermon, I feel really sleepy. His tone is very, like, low, and he stopped by between every 2-3 words, he stopped for seconds, so I feel like I'm so, it's boring. When I was young, so I always start like in my mind, I was starting to start the sermon, it means for me, sleep. I confess. Until I reveal it to my father of not father of confession, actually to my servant. And so he told me, never in any sermon you feel that you're not receiving the word of God. Please only focus on anything, any word, and God gonna talk to you. even you feel boring, but God gonna take some words from this sermon and talk to you. Learn. And after that, I started to focus in the sermon. And I remember all the sermons that Abuna said it before. Why? Because he said, you're going to learn. So I have to learn from anything. Anyone, a servant going to talk, I have to listen. Any sermon from anywhere, book I read it, the church, anything I have to learn, even the kids. Sometimes the kids, I remember the kids, they are talking like, they are innocent. And sometimes they are talk like as if God is sending me a message through them. So I have to learn. And I have to learn from my weakness. I know my weaknesses, so I have to learn from it too. What is the relationship between me and between my spiritual father? It's not merely an exchange of information, but a relationship of trust, love, and obedience. So, again, I'm taking the two sides. The relationship between me, myself, and my spiritual father, and between the kids, and how to relate the kids to their spiritual father. Sometimes the kids love to talk to the servant, and they are shy to go to Abuna to talk to him, which is okay. For a time, yes, for the beginning, this is the relationship, how to build the relationship between you and between the kid. That's why I have to build my relationship between me, between my spiritual father, and after that, I'm going to build this relationship. The problem, we are not here only to give them some talks or some sermon or some whatever what we're saying, or we spend 1 hour with the kids and that's it. No, it's a relationship between me and between them. Here's the discipleship. But to build this relationship, I have to build this relationship between me, between my spiritual father in first. So it's a relationship, it's a true love. Relationship of obedience. Respecting. So Pope Shenouda, he said, if you have no spiritual father, you will learn from yourself. And the self is a dangerous teacher. I have to reveal what is inside my heart and inside my mind, and I have to share with my spiritual father or my father of confession. I have to share this. I have to share everything. Not like it's not only because I should or must. No. I need guidance. I need someone to guide me. I need someone to be sure that I am on the right, the true path. That's why the book is named The True Path of Discipleship. Someone to tell me I'm right or wrong. So, for example, that's why sometimes I call my father of confession for like it's okay, like I'm doing this, like I have all the authority to do everything by myself. But again, there's something I wanted to share with my father of compassion to be sure that, or my spiritual father, to be sure this is right or not. And it's exactly, this is what I built between me, myself, and my spiritual father, and this is exactly what I built between me, between my kids. The kids inside the Sunday school should have a relationship between me, between them, and to connect them to their father of confession too. I am the hand that help them to go to their spiritual father. And this is a relationship that occurs between me, between them. There is a biblical examples of discipleship, like Elisha and Elijah. Elisha followed Elijah faithfully until he was taken up in the church. Like you can imagine that Elisha, he was following Elijah all the time. His eyes is on Elijah until the last time. My eyes should be, I should follow Christ my eye should be on him, and I'm taking my kid the same. They're gonna see me first. That's why I remember my father of confession in Alexandria, he said, at what time we start the service? I said, at 11 a.m. He said, wrong, at 7 a.m., the liturgy. So I said, but we start at 11. And I said, no, in the liturgy, because your kids are monitored. They are seen. You are the church or not, first of all. Do you pray or not? How you're standing. They're going to learn from you. Here is discipleship. So I have to be a disciple first. So here is like Elisha and Elijah. The 12 apostles too, they left everything immediate and followed Christ. Liturgy, Sunday school, Vespers, midnight praise, any liturgical prayers in the church, it's not an option to have another service or another event or anything at the same time. Again, any liturgy or liturgical prayers and Sunday school, including it, okay, it's one of the main things. Vespers and midnight prayer should not have other events parallel to this service. Why? Because the 12 apostles, they said, I'm leaving, they left everything to follow them. So I can't put anything in the same level of prayers in the church or learning. So ما ينفعش احط اي حاجه في نفس الوقت اللي فيها عندي Sunday school or عندي قداس او عندي عشيه او عندي تسبيحه. That's why nowadays, like we think we thought about the confessions. So I move the confessions now all on Saturdays because I wanted to everyone attend the Vesper and midnight praise. So I'm beyond this, and everyone hears they are praising. And we are listening to the praise of God, and we have confession at the same time. By the way, the confession should be at the church. Like when you're doing like in the Oda and like in the room, it's like it's تعليقة جديدة, it's okay. I mean, غلط أصلا. You know what? How to do the confession? Where? Here. And I have to open the curtain. And I have to wear a sadra. And I have to be in the front of the altar. So now, because we have a lot of people, we have a lot of services at church, we have offices كمان للكهنة. Okay, so بنعمل confession in the office, but actually it's totally wrong. It's a sacrament, and the sacrament should be in the church. So that's why, like now we move the confession here. So again, we have to be a disciple. If I wanted to be a disciple, so I have to respect that I am leaving everything for Christ. If I want to be a disciple, so I have to understand how I'm leaving everything for Christ. And if the kids see that how I'm sacrificing everything with myself and leaving everything only to come to the church, only to attend the Vesper, only to have the liturgy, only, so I have a lot of things in my life, but I'm leaving everything for Him, so they're gonna follow what I'm doing. They're gonna be, this is here the discipleship. Go quickly. What are the obstacles to the true discipleship? First, as I said before, there is no guidance. I can guide myself. This is the big issue. The second argument does not lead to understanding but to confusion. There's a lot of, I argue, as I said before, I confessed before, but sometimes I know myself, I'm arguing with my father's confession, but I know that he knows me too very well, that I'm not accepting anything quickly, but by the end of the day, he knows that I'm going to say yes. But sometimes we are arrogant only for arguments, and I'm stubborn. This is what I should do. This is wrong. Like, and the other servants, for example, or the abuna, or مثلا the coordinator, عشان خاطري أنا تعبت. It's arrogant. No, I have to argue. This is wrong. طب, can you obey, please? So like the second obstacle was like, first one is or I got myself. The second is the argument. The third, accepting only the teaching we like. So sometimes when I have in my mind it's a way of how to teach or what I should teach. But when someone comes to me and explain to me, we have to change a little bit the way. I'm not accepting this. I have to understand that there's many ways, and I have to, maybe I ask him the other, like, why you are saying I have to change the way. Maybe he has a reason. He's right. So I have to understand, I have to change the way. Wanting to be a teacher before being a disciple is not above his teacher. The teacher is Christ. And I am a disciple of Christ. And when I'm teaching the kids, I'm telling them the teacher is not me. He is. So that's why this is a discipleship. Living discipleship as a servant, quickly be daily disciple of Christ through prayers and Bible. Like, so I can't be a disciple, and I can't teach my kids without prayers, without the Bible, every single day. Be a disciple of the church, learn her hymns, rite, and sacraments. Okay, again, it's not the hymns because maybe I'm not talented in hymns, but I at least understand some hymns. I'm not telling you to learn all the hymns, for example, no, I'm not telling, but at least you love to listen to the hymns. Because the hymns, it's praising. I have to learn hymns. I have to learn the rites. I can't be at the church and I don't know why Abuna is doing 3 times around the altar, for example. Or, for example, I don't know why the curtain is closed now. Why will I have to open the curtain by the beginning? I have to know the rites of the church. I have to search. I have to ask. I am a disciple of them, and I have to teach to build a new generation, disciples too. And I have to know the sacraments, all the sacraments. Again, living a disciple as a servant, be a disciple of a spiritual father, accept his guidance and correction, we said before. Be a disciple of the church father and the saints, read and learn their writings. So I can't it's wrong to disconnect myself from the father's quotes or from the father's books and from the saints. We are teaching them from the Bible, and we are teaching them also the role models they are the saints. For example, like in the beginning of your Sunday school, tell them about the week, the saints of the week. Tell them about the church celebrating this week, for example, this saint and that saint, and we can learn from the saint like this. This is a role model. I have to learn from them, from the saints, and I teach my kids what should learn from saints. Be a disciple of life itself. Learn patience from trials, hope from failures, love from serving others. The fruits of the true discipleship: a humble and obedient heart. There is Abuna Lu'a Sudarus Marra El Kida, and they were different, three different priests with 3 different personalities. And Abuna Shoy, Abuna Lu'a, and Abuna Tadrus. They are totally different. 3 of them are totally different. But the 3 of them, they have one line connected, which is love. So, for example, maybe they go inside a room and they fight. They fight. And it was like when Abuna Lu'a was talking, I was there at the time. So he was talking about Abuna Bishoy. He was like a strong personality. Like Abuna Bishoy usually in his face, he was like surah batu, the hate, خالص وصوته واطي وبتاع. No no no. قال لي كده ثورجي. مين ده اللي ثورجي؟ أبونا بشوي. قال لي so he had a strong personality. But by the end, they love each other and they have a humble and obedient heart. So when they agree about something, even the youngest priest, خلاص هو اللي قال this idea, so they accept. For example, شابونا بشوي يقول I am أنا القديم، أنا الكبير. No. So that's why they learned how to be disciple. That's why they taught all the servants and inside the church to be disciples. This one fruit of the true discipleship. The other fruit is spiritual discernment and wisdom. When I obey, when I be a disciple, so I have the wisdom. God give me the wisdom. Again, the fruit of the discipleship, firmness in the faith and doctrine. I know how to say this is wrong teaching. This is wrong teaching. I have to say no. I can't differentiate between the right and wrong. The fruit of the discipleship, deep love for Christ and His church. Pope Shenouda said in his book, the more one grows in discipleship, the more he becomes like Christ. Last thing, we have to think about how to be a true disciple, or we're only just listeners. No, we should be good disciples. The verse said in Romans that he might be the firstborn among many brethren. That's why I have to learn daily from Christ and from the church, and I have to teach my kids too to be disciples. You know what? I know, like we have because like the church, the Coptic church is strong again, as I said, with the discipleship. So when we have a good servant, the influence of this servant on the kids is very high. Even, for example, I remember if he's a مثلا physician هتلاقي العيال كلها رايحة بقت دكتور، رايحة طب. If he's an engineer, all the kids are gonna be engineers, like him. The love between the kids and this relationship it's built already between the kids and between the servants, it's above our expectations. They are looking to us like not only role model, maybe more than role model. So that's why I have to know what I'm doing. Inside, if I'm praying in the liturgy, I know that like the military, for example, the girls that they are on the side, whatever you are wearing, whatever, for example, you are, how you're standing out on the side, the girls, they're gonna see you. For the boys, when you are like in the front, because you are, for example, like deacons. So all the kids, they're gonna see you, how you are praising, what you're doing, how you are standing, you are talking together, you are whatever. All the kids, they are seeing every single thing, and it's written in my mind, in their minds, and they're gonna imitate you. They're gonna imitate you. So that's why I have to understand how to be a disciple first, and how to have disciples inside our church. And the Lord be to God forever. Amen. I'm sorry, like I took a long time. So, any announcements? نروح المبنى الجديد امتى؟ So we are waiting for the new building to open. Like, yeah, I know that we should go, but till now the furniture maybe is coming maybe next week or week after, I'm not sure. So at least we have place to sit down. for sure, like even if we are waiting until till the 22nd of November until the grand opening happens. مش عارف ليه انا حاسس ان الجراند اوبننج زي بالظبط الجراند اوبننج بتاع الميوزيوم مش عارف حاسس so we are waiting بس until everything is settled like inside the building. The contractors is still there and they are doing small things. So we do an inspection by ourselves and we have small things, okay, and they are now fixed. They'll try to fix everything now. بس ده building خلاص soon and we are شعب بني إسرائيل wait for 40 years. Alhamdulillah. It's not 40 years now. So it's coming soon in 3 weeks, less than 2 weeks. We've tried to prepare for a trip for servants, but yeah. But I think it's fundraising at the same time. Should be 29, I think. I'm not sure, but to be sure, I need to be confirmed. So that's why. So we're going to do a trip for the servants, a spiritual day for all servants. We're going to go to the monastery. But we're going to define the date. Maybe in the first week of December, if the fundraising is like, we're going to do it in the first week of December. Then keep I think 13 of December. Yeah, 13 of December. So we are preparing again for the December vacation. So we have two different retreats for the kids. For elementary, we have different retreat, and for high school, we have different retreat. God willing, inshallah, we're going to announce soon. Encourage your kids for the confession on Saturday to attend with us at Vesper, midnight praise, and during this we have confession. Please send the preparation, the presentation, or like what you are preparing, share with you the servant and the sector coordinator, and the servant coordinator. Please, 2 days before Sunday, for example, like Thursday or Friday maximum. Okay. What else? Nothing. هنروح. Okay. So any question before we leave about the building, about the service, about spiritual, about anything? Right. Nothing? Okay, that's good. Thank you. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, one God, amen. Lord have mercy, Lord have mercy, Lord have mercy, by intercession of Saint Mary, Saint Paul, Saint Anthony, Saint Mark, Archangel Michael, make a word repeating, flee out, Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as in heaven. Give us there our daily bread, forgive our trespasses, as we forgive to those who trespass against us, and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil one, in Christ Jesus our Lord, and reign in the power and the glory forever. Amen. Now the love of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit be with all. Amen. Go in the peace of the Lord be with all. Amen.